So Norma Dumont continues sounding off against Juliana Peña, continues complaining about the Venezuelan vixen. She did an interview before already stating how it's ridiculous that Peña is getting a title shot because she's coming off a 2.5-year layoff. She doesn't deserve to be fighting for the belt, yada, yada, yada. And Peña's not a good fighter. But in this recent quote, she said, "I highly doubt I'm next for the shot because of this ridiculous Juliana Peña versus Raquel Pennington fight." Juliana, for the love of God, Juliana was out for 2.5 years and running from everybody in the division and was gifted this fight with Pennington. It's going to be hard to watch. Okay, first off, the reason why you're not next for the title if you beat Irene Aldana is because for as much as I love Aldana, for as much as I, glaze and praise Aldana, she's ranked number 5 in the division. I don't think beating Aldana, it's a good win, but it's not a title shot worthy win because where she's at in the rankings, and also, what's going on ahead of Aldana in the rankings. You got to factor in Kayla Harrison is top 3. Ketlen Vieira is number 2. Those two are fighting for the number 1 contender spot. So you got to get in line for the winner of Kayla and Ketlen because they're going to be next after Juliana Peña. So after that, you're still going to have a bit of work to do. You might have to fight Juliana, or you might have to fight the loser of Pennington Peña or the loser of Harrison Vieira. But it's not Juliana Peña's fault that you may not be next for a title shot. That's a bunch of bull crap. And I mean, on a technicality, yeah, Juliana doesn't really deserve the title shot with Amanda Nunes. Or sorry, not Nunes, that fight's long gone. She doesn't deserve the shot with Raquel. I totally agree. Because, yeah, 2.5 years, where has she been? Me personally, I would have loved to have seen Peña be active and fight contenders and earn her spot back. But you got to factor in, she had that rivalry with Amanda Nunes. I mean, I know the rematch was one-sided. She got dominated, so there was really no need for a trilogy. I mean, Peña was like the only big name. I mean, with Nunes sticking around prior to retirement, the only other big enough name with, I guess, a big enough leverage or enough leverage to claim a shot at Nunes was still Juliana Peña because she has the upset win over Amanda. That was her claim to fame. That was her claim to popularity. So business-wise, doing a trilogy with Nunes, unwarranted, but business-wise, it kind of made sense to do the trilogy. Aldana hadn't quite earned the shot yet. And I mean, Raquel Pennington wasn't really marketable enough for the UFC to be like, all right, let's give Raquel another shot at Nunes. Plus, she already got destroyed by Amanda before. So based off merit, they gave Peña the shot at Nunes. So she was supposed to fight Nunes again. She pulls out. So that is why she's still in line to fight for the belt, because she is the number 1 contender. She was already supposed to fight for the belt against Nunes. Yeah, she missed her chance, and I know in other circumstances, fighters who have pulled out of title shots have had to take other fights like Oliveira, but I mean, if Charles Oliveira would have waited for Islam after pulling out of UFC 294, I guarantee you they would have given Charles a title shot. But Charles, different kind of personality, different kind of fighter. He's not the kind of person who's going to hold his ranking and wait. He's actually going to be active and just fight whoever, whenever, which, I mean, that is based, but at the same time, it can be a little bit risky because Oliveira lost his number 1 spot when he risked this spot. And Peña was already supposed to be fighting for the belt. If she came back and fought someone else, then there's a good chance she could have lost and not been fighting for the title. And I think the only interesting fight in the division for Raquel, I mean, I'm not saying Peña is the only interesting fight because there's Kayla Harrison and there's Ketlen Vieira. But again, when you're looking at business and marketing and promotion in the UFC, first off, Kayla Harrison just made her debut. I know she's in the top 3. I know Chandler got a title shot after 1 win in the UFC, but that's not how it's always going to work. So I don't think Kayla has earned a title shot just yet. Peña's been here longer. Again, she was already supposed to fight for the title, and she's like the only woman in this division who is willing to market herself, put herself out there, talk trash, add hype to fights, and play the heel. So based off that, that's also kind of why the UFC is going with her. And I mean, they could also go with Ketlen Vieira, but not really marketable, kind of a boring fighter. Peña's exciting. So if you think about it, Peña getting a title shot, it may be a little unjust, but you can find a way to justify her shot at the title. But Peña is not to blame for you not being next, because what's going to happen is the fight's going to happen in October. It's going to be gotten over with, and regardless of the outcome, it's not going to change whether you fight for the belt or not. Because, again, Kayla, Vieira, those two, whoever wins that is going to be next. And then maybe it'll be on you to beat Peña to earn that title shot. But I mean, you got to focus on Irene Aldana. You got Irene Aldana problems. You got a dangerous opponent in front of you in Aldana. I don't even think you're going to get past Aldana. Good luck, because you're going to need it. But right now, you need to stop worrying about Juliana Peña. You need to worry about what is in front of you. And if you do beat Aldana, okay, you're in the top 5. A little bit of work to do, but don't blame Peña. Don't blame Peña for getting the title shot. Don't hate the player, hate the game, hate the business. Peña is playing the game very well, and that is why she is next in line. And I wouldn't say Peña ducked everybody in the division, because where is the proof that she had a bunch of fight offers and turned them down? People have called her out, and she said, I'm not fighting you. I want to fight for the title. But there's no proof that she was officially offered any fights and she turned them down. The only bit of proof there is the UFC wanted to make Aldana Peña, and Peña said no. That's why the UFC booked Aldana Raquel 2, which ended up being canceled because Peña pulled out. But was that fight even officially offered to Peña? No. So you cannot prove that she's declined fight offers. If you have proof that she's declined a bunch of fights that were offered, you could say she was ducking everybody. But until you can prove it, then you shouldn't be making claims that she's ducking everybody in the division either. And you're saying it's going to be hard to watch, but guess what? You're going to be tuning in and you're going to be watching. And so are all the Peña haters. But let me know what you guys think in the comments.